One would rise and do the Pledge of Allegiance together, please. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Jill, I didn't ask. You guys, you're good with, okay. All righty, good evening and welcome. To mention a few things before we start, if everyone could please silence their cell phones, their watches, etc. Our meetings are public and recorded, and this is a business meeting, so we ask everyone to conduct themselves in a professional manner. Our city code allows for public comment up to 3 minutes, and that's not a time for debate, but rather to bring a public issue or concern before the council. And for best sound quality, please lean into these microphones to speak. So with that, we'll kick off with roll call.
Councilmember Parsons.
Here.
Councilmember Giebert.
Here.
Councilmember Mueller.
Here.
Councilmember Honabut.
Here.
Councilmember Demond.
Here.
Councilmember Neboy.
Here.
Councilmember Dojan.
Here.
Councilmember Peel.
Here.
Okay, we have a quorum. First item, I'll call for a motion to approve the financial statements found in your packets.
So move. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on that? Roll call voting. This starts with Parsons.
Hey. 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 Hey.
Okay, motion carries. Next up, I'd call for a motion to approve the estimated and listed bills in your packets.
So move. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on that? Roll call voting. This starts with Giebert.
Hey. 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 Hey.
Motion carries. Is there consideration of any additional bills? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on. We are up to correspondence and public and guest comments. If anyone wants to come forward. If you could state your name for the record.
Good evening. Thank you for the time to address the city council this evening. My name is Matt Wagner. I reside at 1221 Flint Street. Been a proud resident of Redbud since 2005. My purpose of addressing this body is an issue which I have recently personally experienced, and through my experience, I have found that dozens of others in our community as well, the issue of incorrectly read or incorrectly estimated water meter readings. This issue has recently resulted in Redbud residents receiving their monthly water and sewer bills and being shocked to find they're being billed $800, $1,000, $1,200 or more in a single monthly billing, some of whom are on a fixed, limited, or single income household, as I found through social media. In my case, my August 2025 water bill and water and sewer bill was $1,489.77, with reported usage for one billing cycle of 136,000 gallons. Put that in perspective, that was more water usage than I was billed for in the entire 2024 calendar year. It's enough to fill my pool 7 times. When I received the bill, I received a call from Josh Eckert, who voluntarily came out and read my meter. Thank you, Josh. I had no water leaks, no unusual water usage, yet I was told the meter was correct, and so was my usage, despite the fact that the amount of water being beyond any reasonable explanation. I asked whether this might have been a misread by a city employee or a misestimation, and I was told unequivocally that it was not a mistake. I was then asked about an appeals process for an incorrect billing and was told to contact my alderman. I contacted Bryce Parsons, appreciated his quick response. However, I found that there is no appeals process. Bryce's only option is to go back to Josh, who then repeats the same story. Everything must be correct. However, in my conversations with Bryce and others, I uncovered the concept of the catch-up reading and billing, whereby city employees are not provided resources to read meters monthly, and then estimates are done incorrectly, leading to potentially massive adjustments in water bills for some of our residents, causing confusion for all and financial insecurity for some. My experience has led to 2 key findings. First, that if the city is not willing to commit resources to accurately read water usage, the bills we receive can't be trusted to be accurate. It's proven that some of the readings are flatly wrong. They must have been, otherwise, why is the catch-up needed at all? However, why is this one, the one for $1,500, now to be trusted as the gospel truth when it is clearly not an accurate reading of usage in a time period? Second, during the period of time where I was in the so-called appeals process, I was billed an additional $86.43 in non-payment penalties. So I was directed to a process to appeal my bill by the head of city utilities and then penalized by that department for following that process. Does any of this sound like a best practice or a way to run city business to anyone here? In closing, it appears we have a flawed process leading to unfair outcomes when water meters can't be read correctly and in a timely manner. We should expect transparency and competence. And when you get it so obviously wrong in many cases and do not have an appeals process, you get folks like me at city council meetings having to come speak publicly on the topic. I encourage this council to find a solution to the issue. Thank you.
Okay, does anyone else have comments for this evening? Okay, hearing none, we will move on. Next up is the consent agenda. So I will go through these items so we all know what's on the. Oh.
No discussion
Oh.
on it, I guess.
I'm going to go through the items. I have to read them all first.
Okay.
So item A, approval of city council meetings for October 6th. Item B, approval of 69240 sewer adjustment request for 817 East Olive Street. C is approval of lead and copper sampling coupons, 40 sites at 10 and $10 coupons for additional samplings is required. Approval to end Max Walters 6-month probationary period effective October 26th. Approval to end Zach Roman's 6-month probationary period effective October 25th. Approval of Ditch Witch Unit Number 15 trencher replacement proposal not to exceed 45,000, including trade-in. Approval of Emera Midwest Unit Number 30 vacuum excavator replacement proposal not to exceed 135,333. Authorization for Mayor Harbaugh and City Superintendent Eckert to attend the 2026 APPA Legislative Rally in Washington, D.C. Approval to accept RMA insurance renewal as presented. Approval of FY 25 audit results. Approval to apply for Illinois Farm Bureau Rural Development Grant. Approval of Blinds Unlimited City Hall Blinds proposal not to exceed 16.5. Approval of donation of $300 to Redwood History Museum for historical plaques for the YMCA building in Preston Brickey Homestead. Approval of Jill Landgraf to attend Downstate City/County Management Association Fall Meeting on December 4/5, 2025 in Bloomington, Illinois, not to exceed $500. Approval of FFA's request to host Hot Chocolate Run on November 28th, 2025. Does anyone want any of those items pulled out and discussed separately? Okay, then hearing none, I'll call for a motion on the consent items A through O.
So moved. Second.
Okay, we have motion and a second. Any further discussion on that? Roll call voting goes with Mueller.
Hey. 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 Hey.
Okay, motion carries. Next up, we're shifting to reports. First off is the Finance Committee.
Okay, maturing CDs, that's already been taken care of. Nothing to report there. Regional Site Readiness Program, I'll pass this over to Madam Mayor to explain a little bit of where we're at on this program.
Okay, you may remember we received a Regional Site Readiness Grant as one of the 2 large grants for the Redwood Business Park. They've rolled out another one simply called kind of number 2. And it has 2 components in it. One is for planning, which we're past that point. The other is for capital ready. So we could apply for a grant up to $5 million. Josh has a few large items that would really supplement and help that business park. So we're thinking about teasing out those details, but we thought this is an odd time frame with this one, as it says they're accepted on a rolling basis until March 31st or until funds are exhausted. So in talking with Tracy Glenn this afternoon through an email, she said the sooner you get in the hopper, the better. So that's what we kind of thought what this read when this came in last Thursday, and we looked at it on Friday. So we went ahead and put it on the agenda for tonight, just for a matter of time, that we can start getting those letters of support and start this down the track if this is a grant we want to apply for. We need to tease out some of those details, but we believe some of the items Josh needs could qualify for this and could potentially give us a lot of money for those items.
When
And
you
if you-
say items that he has, what are the items?
Electric substation,
Yes,
gas regulator station.
yeah, both to support that side of town with the business park, with the new substation. And then also that's the one that I had previously had a preliminary design done by BHMG on. And then the other one is a regulator station to help maintain pressure, because closest reg station we have is, I guess, West Market Street, down past the golf course. So we could use something on the east side for pressure stabilization. And then 2, if you have that, you can also do a different type of pressure for that business park or something along that line, just help sustain that side of town.
So Josh has been saving for these in the capital plans, but if we could qualify for a grant, that would be fantastic. But we need to ask a few questions yet before we
Well,
apply.
that was my question then. So if we're saying we're needing them, if we don't go for the grant, we're still gonna be able to open the business part just without these?
Yeah, this is just to help for future.
Basically, it's a future growth as that
It's a
continues
future
to
growth
fill.
plus something to help sustain the system that it just needs, it's an upgrade that we need in the system. But if we can get some funding to help with it, that's
So we're
we
just
get plus
asking,
a win-win.
we're just asking this evening. Oh, and I need to mention it is an 80-20. So if we could get, $5 million, we throw in $1 million, we've got a $6 million project. And ironically, one of the things on the table is a $6 million project. I don't know how the math came out like that, but it did. So we would just ask for your approval to apply for the grant, or at least look into applying for the grant at this point. So if I can call for a motion to apply for the Regional Site Readiness Phase 2 grant, or number 2 grant, whatever we're calling it.
So move.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call voting starts with Hannabit.
Hey.
Hey,
Hey. Hey.
hey,
Hey,
Okay, motion carries. I think that's it for finance.
yes.
Okay, I don't see anything for Personnel Committee.
Nope.
Nothing from Public Health and Safety,
No,
nothing from Cultural.
nothing there.
Okay, we have a couple of items of Public Works. I'll give it to you, Kurt.
First item is a sewer adjustment for 228 Clarence Drive. Apparently had a water leak. So they are going to receive a $60.49 credit for their sewer because the water did not enter the sewer. So I'd like to make that a motion.
Second,
Okay, we have a motion and a second for a sewer adjustment at 228 Clarence Drive in the amount of $60.49. Any further discussion? Roll call voting with Demond.
Hey.
hey,
Hey. Hey. Hey.
Hey,
hey,
Okay, motion carries.
next item is authorization to hire part-time meter reader.
Yes, this is just kind of as an ongoing thing. Just I was hoping to get 2 at the last, but we only had the 1. I had the advertisement going, so I do have a recommendation to hire another meter reader, and this kind of keeps our totals where we're at when we had Logan and Sherry here. So I would recommend hiring Travis Crick, part-time meter reader, pending physical and drug testing at the current rate of pay, which is $18.10 per hour.
I'd like to make that a motion.
second,
Okay, we have a motion and a second to hire Travis Crick as a part-time meter reader under the stated conditions. Any further discussion on that?
Josh, I guess my question would be if we're having issues getting meters read the way it sounds correctly, is this something maybe we need to look at making it as a full-time position as opposed to doing it part-time?
Well, the issue with the incorrect meters has been resolved. We've rearranged some of the personnel and working on that. The problem with making it a full-time position is you're only reading like 2 weeks out of the month. So because the way the billing software works, it's hard. I don't know how you could read with trying to get the handhelds with the downloads and everything else. So at this time, a part-time would be good, and then we can look at other options.
I mean, we could use them the other 2 weeks out of the month for anything. I mean,
Yeah, if you're using employees anyway to do it.
Can one person cover the whole town though?
No, not in the time period we're doing it now. No. What we're trying to do is I have a lot of the employees picking up some of these extra meters. So I'm basically taking and shifting them back over to the part-time so I can free them up for other items.
Rodney, it's something we'll be working on budgets before we realize it here by another month or two. Maybe we'll take a closer look at some of that then. Yes, no, maybe.
Said my part.
Okay, so we had our motion, we had our second. Any other discussion? Then let's see, roll call voting kicks off with Rodney Neboy.
Hey,
hey. Hey. Hey.
Hey,
hey,
Hey. Hey.
Okay, motion carries. I think that's it for Public Works.
yes.
Okay, nothing from zoning. Recreational facilities. I think Josh actually has some pool system season repairs.
Yes, it was discussed, I guess, at the committee meetings to try and figure out some more details. Ironically enough, Tuesday morning after the committee meetings, I received an email back from the Illinois Department of Public Health in regards to our questions for what could be done in the pump room and the piping. I actually also called the director at Springfield to speak with him regarding the situation as well. Come to find out that if we were to want to do a full pipe replacement in that filter room, that would require a permit. On top of that, any permitted work, you have to have a pre-qualified contractor. That was on a specific list that is already applied, that is been approved by the Department of Public Health to do permit work. If it's just a maintenance item, which we've had down there in the past where we had to replace a small section of piping or do something that's a maintenance item, we can do that and get a contractor of our choosing. The maintenance work that we're wanting to do in the deck itself is maintenance item, so therefore not permitted, so we can use the contractor with the proposal you have in front of you. So at this time, based on that information, I would recommend if the council so chooses, that if we're going to do up some of the maintenance work on the pool, that we would move forward with the deck replacement, the deck piping replacement as identified from the camera work, and also those drain lines. And then that would also be that concrete, as Rodney, we had talked about before, with the concrete around and actually backfilling all that and getting all that concrete up. With that in mind, you'd be looking at an estimated cost of $43,766. I do know that this says that the price is only good to October 30th, and I verified with Mark Arrett that the price is still good if should you guys want to move forward with that repair work. And the reason I doubled the $49.91 and the $43.92 is because they, I guess, they only had the drain lines. They didn't actually have the other piping included in there, but I previously verified that with Mark Arrett that those same numbers would apply for both the supply line piping and the drain line piping. So that is why those numbers are doubled.
So should we move forward with this? What kind of a time frame are we looking at, or when do they?
I mean, the water's
we're not
shut down and
just
everything
spraying.
now, so now it's just a matter of getting a schedule and getting them in. I mean, so you could take getting concrete out, get them to come in, get it repaired, get the pipes replaced, get backfill put back in, and you can always find a good decent day at some point during the winter to pour some concrete. I know that's possible, so.
Okay.
So Josh, the way I'm reading this, then the 43,766 is the piping under the deck only and drain lines, correct?
That is correct, yes.
So what about the filter room piping replacement? Is that still an option?
It would be an option, but it would have to be something that we would have to have permitted. And then once you have something like that permitted, they could come back and say that you have to do all sorts of other things, going and doing more. If you start something with the permitting process there, they can come back and have you do stuff with your gutters, or have you do more piping work all the way out to the pool. Just because, this pool was built in the 60s. The sizing of the piping and the turnover rates as per the current regulations, they would want to have that up to code. So just to replace the piping, the quote I received from a pre-qualified contractor, the one was Landmark Aquatic, was $73,000. That's
So-
just saying that they come in and replace the piping. But that's also saying that Department of Public Health doesn't come back and require additional work.
Is Arid a pre-qualified contractor to do that work?
No, they're not. The only ones in the area would be like Landmark Aquatic, and I think I saw Heinz Pool and Spa in Freeburg is the closest ones.
My greatest fear is going to be if we just do this stuff underneath under the concrete decking and we still have issues, we're going to be right back in the same boat.
Right, and if we were to have another small problem, like if we need to replace a small section of pipe in the filter, and we can do that as a maintenance item. You just can't do everything at once, because that is a major overhaul or major renovation, as they call it, and that would kick off the permit process. And their permit process right now is a 90-day review at minimum before they'd even see it. Because when I talked to him the day after the meeting,
He was just now looking at a permit application from August.
But with the issues that we had been having,
We are
we're 99%
I'm
sure this is going to fix it.
suspected that it's that's, I mean, you can tell from the amount of backfill that was missing in that one area
Right.
that we're anticipating that is a major part of the problem. So that very well could take care of it. And then we just have to just watch what we have in the basement. If we have to replace something, we can. As we have in the past.
For someone who's maintained it basically over the last several years or tried to maintain it, do you think the drain issues and the piping under the decking is going to solve the issues?
Knowing that's where the sand and seeing the backfill, yes, and speaking with the representative from Arid who was out there, who has done the pool work. That was his thoughts as well, that was those areas were the ones that could very well be causing the problem for us.
So if we would do this, essentially, I mean, it's been forever ago since we've had that replaced and then they backfilled it or whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess essentially it fixes everything that we've done with all of our upgrades with the exception of putting a brand new pump system in. And we'll actually replace the pump. It'd be
The pump is the
pump's
same.
new too.
The pump's
So-
the same. We just wouldn't, we'd have the same filter system and everything. else.
Right.
And by doing this now, it's not going to affect if we ended up having to do at a later date, the stuff underground.
Nope.
This is not gonna hurt the work that we'd have to do under there.
No.
This would actually still need to be done anyway.
If the pool is going to be open, this work really does need to get done.
We have to do it.
Otherwise, you're still gonna be dealing with the same problems, in my opinion.
I mean, the last time we had an issue similar to this, we had Vic Moore do the work out there, and I don't have a clue how many years ago that's been.
It was right when, I know it was right when Cliff started, so it's been 19, 20 years.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's been a while, so.
And some of that's settled, so they say there's water could be holding in there, and then it could have cracked the pipe a little bit, and that was what the guy from Arid said that,
I mean, I know it's a gamble, but I think it's a gamble worth taking.
Agreed.
so.
I would make it a motion unless, any further discussion?
Other than just when we get to spring, the pool will need painting, so that will be another cost that we'll have to incur in
budget
our budget
maintenance
for the
item.
next year, so
Okay.
just be aware of
And then
that.
just for record, that was 18,200 and something back in 2018. I spoke with the Dean Hotop, the owner of the company that paints that. He's estimating 25% increase. We'd be at about 23 and some change. I had previously estimated it at 25.
I would make a motion as presented in the packet, not to exceed $43,766.
Second,
Okay, we have a motion and a second for the pool post-season repairs, plumbing and concrete work as in your packet, not to exceed 43,766. Any further discussion? Roll call voting starts with Dojan.
Okay,
hey,
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 Okay, motion carries.
That's all.
Okay, thank you. Okay, moving along to Planning Commission. Looks like you got a couple items.
yeah, thank you, Mayor. First item is for ordinance number 1562 for Mike Henry special use permit. This was heard at the planning commission meeting and unanimously approved. So I would like to make a motion that we accept ordinance number 1562.
second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to accept ordinance number 1562, Mike Henry special use permit. Any further discussion on that? Roll call voting starts with Peel.
Okay,
hey,
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 hey.
hey,
Okay, motion carries.
Just a quick question. If they would sell this property, that ordinance starts over, correct? Don't they have to if someone else would purchase this, does the zoning not change to its original?
It does after 6 months. If somebody would buy it and continue it as a VRBO, B&B, RB&B, whatever it's called, it would continue. If
Okay,
there's a 6 months lapse, it would go back to residential.
okay, thank you.
okay, next item is another ordinance for ordinance number 1563 for Craig Stam variance. This again was heard at the planning commission meeting and unanimously approved. So I would like to make a motion to accept ordinance number 1563.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on ordinance number 1563 for the Craig Stam variance. Any further discussion on that? Roll call voting with Parsons.
Hey.
Hey,
Hey,
Hey.
Hey,
Okay, motion carries. Congrats to all you guys in the back of the room. All righty, next up is Economic Development Commission. Anything on that, Rodney?
no report.
Okay, Parks and Recreation Committee, the October minutes are in your packets. Anything further, Kyle, on that? No?
Nope, we're good.
Okay, that'll shift us into old business. I don't think anybody has anything. So new business, the calendar's in front of us. John, you'll be doing sirens tomorrow morning. Parks and Rec will meet on Wednesday evening here at City Hall. Just a notation on the 11th, it is Veterans Day, so City Hall and Utility Plant is closed. The 13th is Library Board meeting at 5. We're back here on the 17th for committee meetings at 6. Planning Commission, is that scheduled for the 18th, Jeff?
Yes, we will be finalizing our review of the comprehensive plan.
That's right, the comprehensive plan. That's a big meeting, so.
We're here on 16th, right?
What?
We're here on the 16th.
17th. 17th.
16th is Sunday.
Oh, it's.
It's a little, yeah, okay, you got it.
I got it.
It's right and left aligned, yeah. Okay, so Planning Commission, yes, on the 18th. The 26th, do you think we'll have Economic Development Commission?
Planning on it.
Okay, plan on the Economic Development Commission on the 26th. And the 27th and 28th are our Thanksgiving holidays. Any other changes or notations for the calendar? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on. And is there any other comments this evening? Any of the aldermen or anyone?
Well,
I'd like a little sorry,
Yeah.
Ronnie, I'd just like a little,
I
I'd just like a little clarification on this water. I mean, 141,000 gallons of water. I mean, I don't even understand how that's even possible for him to use that much. Is there any kind of an explanation on how it was possible?
When we're reading the meters, I mean, that was not one of the meters in the problem areas. But I will say that I had another customer that 161,000 or 167,000 out of Knotty Pines because they left their hose on. And it was dripping. And the thing was on that one, it was dripping right in between the concrete pad and the concrete pad for the trailer pad itself, and the driveway was going right down on the crack and I guess getting in the ground, and you could never see a water spot out there whatsoever. The only reason I noticed it because their water meter was spinning. As for what Mr. Wagner brought up, like I said, we went out there, took the readings. I had spoken several times with Bryce on this as well. I personally went out there, as my notes that I sent out, it said several times to take these readings. And like I said, the meters jumped from that one reading all the way up over that 55-day period. It was 141,000 gallons based on the meter readings over that 55-day period. I asked several questions, toilet sticking, a toilet that is sticking, or a gallon of water a gallon of water used an hour will use about 43,000 gallons in a month. Just a gallon of water every minute is 43,000. So I don't know where, but like I said, based on the readings, it jumped. Did they have a problem? We don't know. There's no way to know exactly if the toilet was sticking or not. I don't know. It was noted that it was checked and he didn't see any issues. Since them readings, I'd been back out there several times after that. He's not showing where it's like a leak on a service line where you have the usage indicator is constantly spinning. But it's not to say that something didn't happen, but it did get back in line. So like I said, it's back, I guess, in normal usage, based on what his past normal usage has been.
so this wasn't a meter catch up bill. This was 141,000 gallons in 55 days.
Was calculated based on exactly what the meter readings were. Yes.
Is it possible the meter readings were wrong from before and then it is catching up?
Based on what is current based on my knowledge and reviewing his data. I mean, his usages were pretty consistent over the previous months.
but not 141,000.
I mean, no, it was 15, whatever. I mean, he was using from October 30th to December 30th, 19,900 gallons. From the 30th through the 27th of February, or the 59-day period, 31,000. From February to April, 14.5. April to July, 10.4. From July 3rd to August 27th, 141,000. From 8/27 through 9/29, it was like 9,500.
I mean, I agree. It sounds outrageous, but.
I mean, I can never remember anybody in town ever having anything this high
Well,
come
Josh-
up here and come through. I mean,
I mean,
It
Josh just
just
said he had a
seems
couple of
astronomical.
hires, so-
That's-
Well, we've had some very recently, Naughty Pines, there was one, East Olive, there was another. One was a hose, the other one was a leak on their service line.
Can a meter be faulty and then start reading correctly? It might be a
Meters-
silly
those
question, but
the
I got
water,
it.
the water meters only register when water is going through them.
if they're working properly.
And I also took meters and I offered to test it for what the ordinance says. The ordinance says you can test a meter, and if the testing comes back within 3%, customer will pay for that. Meter's okay. Offered to have it tested. I offered to change the meter.
And they refused?
He just said it appears that the readings are back in order. Based on what his usages were, so we didn't do any of that, but I did offer it.
What would the charge have been if it came back correct?
It's a $25 fee to have it tested.
But we could,
I think I'd have to look back, Kyle. I don't
we
recall.
could just change the meter to maybe eliminate future problems, or how much?
And we can change it. I mean, it's not gonna hurt anything. We could go from the old style meter to the new digital meters. I do know, and I'm aware of another incident where he did have a leak on his service line. It's been years ago, I believe. But that had since been fixed and hadn't had an issue until now again.
I mean, if it was the service line, you'd be seeing it now. 'cause of the meter.
And the meter would be spinning and you would see continuous usage,
Right.
and it is leveled back off to what appears to be his normal usage.
I mean, my opinion, I feel like we switch them to the new digital meter just as a show of good faith for the city. That's the way I feel.
Josh, what are the qualifiers for a sewer adjustment? If you use that much water? I mean, do we have to find a physical problem?
The way I understand the sewer adjustment is you have to be able to verify that the water did not enter the sewer. For instance, if it's a leaking toilet, obviously that water entered the sewer. If you're filling a pool, that doesn't qualify for a sewer adjustment because by ordinance, filling a pool, when you drain a pool, by ordinance, you're supposed to put it back into your sanitary sewer system. So basically you're prepaying for your sewer.
I mean, I agree. It sounds like.
I mean, and what we can do if we take the meter out,
I don't know what else.
if we take the meter out, put a new one in, we have a way to run some water through it. We put 200 gallons of water in a tub of water and we run it through the meter and see what it registers. If it registers a 2, well, then we know it's right. I mean, we can do that for our own benefit.
Should we make that offer to him again, or?
I mean, I can just say we're gonna change the meter. I'll just say we're gonna change the meter and we'll just test it on ourselves and then we'll have another bit of information.
I mean, I didn't use anywhere close to that amount of water, but I did use a lot more water this summer through watering flowers and my pool, and, I used way above what I normally would. Nowhere close to that.
And the new house on Austin he contacted me about high water usage, but he new sod and running sprinklers.
Yeah, doesn't take long.
No, it does not take long.
And as Josh said earlier, it's amazing what 1 gallon of water will do in an hour. in a day, anything. It adds up really quickly.
Because I've
To
had,
find that needle
I
in
had
the
an
haystack.
incident where I did look at, went to somebody's meter and I watched it. The meter would spin for 15 seconds and then it would stop. For 45 to 50. It would spin for, I watched it for 5 straight minutes. Spin for 15 seconds, would stop for 45 to 50. Which tells me you have a toilet that's draining out. Takes 45 seconds for it to drain out, 15 seconds to fill it back up. And it constantly did that over and over.
If you think a good show of faith is to change this meter out, we can do that. And then Josh, you can report back to
We'll check
us.
it. Yeah, that's fine.
I think we should at least test it and not worry about $25. And if
No.
I had a bill like this, I wouldn't worry about paying $25 to make sure.
I
to
don't,
see
and I
if
don't know
was
what that
correct.
exact fee, Kyle, is exactly.
Or
Just
whatever. I
whatever
mean,
it is.
that,
We'll do it.
I mean, he said he had late fees too. Is this, I mean, I understand he's trying to
I believe that has since been,
rectify it or,
I believe, I don't quote me on that, but I believe so.
because I understand. When you got a bill like this, I'd be
That's-
want
that's all
some
right.
information too. So I get it.
And not necessarily just this one, but all of them where we're catching up and correcting. You know, if they would get a late fee, I would like, that would be something we could. I don't know if it would have to take council approval or. If it could even be.
Well, and I would think things that are under appeal, they should get.
I would think
waived.
if something's
I
under
if
appeal-
Something's still being appealed, they shouldn't have to pay a late fee on that. I mean, I think we should always. do
Right.
I
that.
agree.
I agree.
Are you talking about so we haven't, there's no late fees on those where the meter readings were misread? So there are no late fees on that. We're in
Sure.
fact working-
He
We
was
are-
just,
But with this one not being a misread, this is actual.
But he's questioned it. And we've been
Usage.
he's been going through the proper channels and it's been
Right.
taken.
So he has it during. the appeal process.
It has been resolved as far as I know. And if not, I will talk to Barb to verify.
I think ideally that one takes council action because it's an outlier.
right.
so then is there anything we need to add to our process? With regards to appeals and people questioning their bills that we're not doing? Something to think about in the future committee meetings, because he specifically brought up that there was no form or anything that he could fill out to do that. So is there something we need to look at down the road with regards to that, just,
To file a formal.
so I don't know. He had a complaint about it and it's, that's a lot of gallons and a lot of money and,
So we- we
if there's a
currently
way to
have
start a
no
process,
forms or Anything like
No.
that.
I don't think
What's
so.
that?
We currently have no.
I mean,
forms.
I don't know that there's a form. It's just what the ordinance states that a meter could be tested if it's when I think it's if it's within 3%
I mean, I
on
guess
accuracy.
wouldn't take that much to come up with a form. That way we have documentation. That,
Some sort of a process for somebody.
And
Yes.
maybe another municipality already has one. We could craft from that or something. You wouldn't have to reinvent the wheel.
I'll do some checking.
be something to look into, I think.
Mhm. I do kind of, to piggyback on what Rodney, I think was getting at earlier, is it time that we start figuring out a way to read these meters more often? I mean, if we could catch it within 30 days, it would sure save people a heck of a lot of issues, potentially even, especially if they've got flooding or something leaking in their house.
Most of the issues that we did have weren't water. It was the other one, electric and gas.
Mhm.
And like I said, that there was some waters that were out there, but not,
And when we made the decision to read water meters every other month, it's been quite some time ago. Craig Roscoe was still here, I can tell you that. And there was arguments both ways on that. And I don't remember. There was a couple reasons. One was cost savings to the city, because we didn't have to have that guy read that meter every month. I know number two was reading meters. They would skip them in very cold weather anyways. And then catch up the following month.
and
So
when
there
we
were
do have-
some that they were estimating anyways,
By ordinance, we could estimate if for some reason you can't read something. However,
mean-
when we do have those months when we can't read because
Yeah.
they're frozen or something like that, we've always gone back and done extra water readings, like back-to-back months on those, a lot of that time, just because. Or this instance where you have a high usage somewhere, somebody has a leak. I'll use my example in Knotty Pines, 160,000 gallons. When you do an estimated month, that's 80,000. We would physically go back out and read that water meter the very next month, even though it wouldn't be a water meter month, to get an actual true reading. So they don't get hit with an 80,000 gallon estimate.
Right. And as far as reading the water meters every other month, I mean, that's something we could revisit again. I mean, the decision was made at that time for the reasoning. And I'd have to go back and look at all that.
There's some notes down there. It was a lot of cost savings and I.
Yeah, I don't remember what it all was, but I mean, if everybody's not comfortable with that anymore and we feel we need to revisit that, Josh I'm sure could put some numbers together and tell us what.
So
Yeah.
Josh, that is the schedule that we're on now is every other month.
For just the water.
Just the water
Electric and gas is read every month.
every month, yeah.
Could you put like a pros and cons sheet together of going
I-
to as much as possible monthly reading?
Yeah, I think I had something like that. It was distributed. years ago.
Resurrect what you had and dust it off for today's numbers and today's situation?
Just take a look at it again and see if it fits today's world.
I think we need to look at all options. I mean, here in the near future.
That's in the works as well.
And I know we had talked about, I mean, just discussed, different updated ways to collect this information, like what other municipalities are doing, whether it's digital, whether it's, whatever. And I think, Josh, you had said that you're currently putting in.
Working with,
Okay.
getting some information put together
Okay,
regarding that,
perfect.
yes.
Perfect.
Is that a quote, Josh, or you?
Yes,
just
it'll be a
putting all the-
proposal and with, they've got our meter list and so trying to get a system, there's
Yeah, I
no
mean,
cost, there's no cost for us to get that put together. So that's why I was just
Yeah.
trying to have it,
And
something put
that's
together.
something we looked at also many years ago. And it just,
Yeah, and it's
At
not
the
gonna be that you
time-
replace all of them at one time.
at the
It's-
time, wasn't cost effective.
It's maybe all the new ones, every new house gets a new one and then you
Right.
just start doing them,
Well,
like we do
the way the
streets and
systems
stuff like
work,
that.
the way the systems work now, when you have that type of system, you typically start with your electric meters. Because everything, if you're going to that kind of a system, everything talks to the electric meter. So you would start with electric meters and then you could phase in other areas. And it's a hybrid system. You can do this area. And then yet you just slowly just keep adding to your package. There's ways to do it.
Good.
And then we've got the challenge of having electric, gas and water and sewer. And not all other municipalities have that. So it'll be a challenge here, but that doesn't mean we can't take a look at it.
Well, the way I look at it though, the city is receiving revenue for those services also. And if it takes a slight increase, if you're increasing your service and the way you're managing it, it's probably a good thing for the city.
And that's been options that have been looked at. I know we did that with the gas, when they put the gas replacement in 1997, they added an extra $1 for the gas charges for the overage. It was $2.85 and that was for a set amount of time till that was kind of paid off. You could do something like that. When I've talked to different vendors and companies, they say it's kind of a cost per meter and you can say, okay, it's a cost per meter to do this for this amount of time. It could be something that's sunset. You don't have to do something and say, we're gonna institute a additional meter fee until the end of time. It can be an additional meter fee for this set amount of time.
Right. If it's one of the biggest complaints in town, it's the PAs and utility bills. So anything that we can do to streamline it and make it better, I think it's worth looking into for sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And bottom line, guys, it's still a great thing that we own all our own utilities. Kind of unheard of in a lot of communities our size.
Very true.
That's-
So I think we got 3 action items then. Take a look at those fees for Mr. Wagner, as well as look at maybe a form for appeals and then look at the pros and cons if we would go to a monthly read across the board, which would be monthly water. Was there some other items? I think that's what I made notes
Are
on.
we gonna go ahead and replace
Swap out
that meter?
And replace the meter, yeah. Actually, 4 action items. There we go. I wrote it down and then didn't read it. Okay, anything else this evening? Hearing none, I can call for a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
A motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. We stand adjourned at 6:44.